And welcome back in for another episode of the Ball Boys podcast. Here with you on a Saturday, the Saturday right before the NBA season tips off. I can't wait. I have been fiending for NBA content, fiending for basketball for probably about 2 or 3 weeks now. Still waiting on a James Harden deal. We'll see if that ever comes. I know as a Sixers fan, that is just much pain for you. But listen, I said it last week. I'll say it again. If Daryl Morey's not going to get back a guy that can help Embiid win this year, I get it. Apparently, the Clippers, they said that the Clippers declined to give up Terrence Mann in a first-round pick and a first-round pick swap. That tells me they're not serious. And listen, I get it. It sucks to go through this again as a Sixers fan, but I get it. So today's plan for the show, we're going to talk about our preseason takeaways, give a quick award predictions, and then our conference finals predictions and our finals predictions. Should be another probably light episode for you guys before the season gets rolling. Not a lot of hoops to talk about, but let's hop into it with these preseason takeaways. I got a couple that I want to go over, and I know you got one. For starters, I want to say that Victor Wembanyama and Chet Holmgren, the 7-foot demons, they've looked so good. And especially Wemby, and you wondered how it was going to translate. And it's just the preseason, so I don't want to, glaze him too much here. But, man, he has looked great offensively. The dribbling that he has, the ability to get his own spot on a shot at his height is insane. And he, even if it's not there, consistently shooting like it's not for most rookies, what he's going to bring to his team defensively every night, his recovery, I swear, you watch him get blown by and he recovers in half a second. It just doesn't even matter. He has the crazy steals, the blocks. Somebody compared him to like
somebody, bro. That was gross.
Somebody compared Wembanyama to like the 2K mod where like they bring in like spider arms and stuff. It's crazy. And Chet has looked really, really good as well. You had some of the same concerns with Chet. Obviously, they play a different style of basketball. Wemby really plays kind of like a forward, whereas Chet does resemble more of a modern-day pick-and-pop big. Wemby's just a freak, man. And then I want to talk about Ben Simmons. And Philly fans, I'm going to be public enemy number one. He looks good, man. And it's on an NBA court, and it's the first time in a long time. We can say that. And we'll see in the regular season, and we'll see how quickly he gets a back injury that sidelines him for the year. But he looks like all-star level Ben Simmons. The passing is there. The defense has been great. Obviously he's hit some three-pointers and warm-ups. I don't expect that for the regular season, but I do expect him to be the floor general, and I expect this Nets team defensively to be disgusting, man. Simmons, Bridges, Claxton, Cam Johnson, Dorian Finney-Smith, that is just a disgusting defensive lineup. It's not going to put up a lot of points, but it really reminds me of like 2000s basketball, what defense that team's going to bring. But what's your biggest takeaway of the preseason thus far?
Yeah, I mean, Wembanyama, bro, like watching him, it was sick to watch. I think it was the Heat game that he was just throwing highlights left and right. I'm like refreshing Twitter or X, and I'm just like seeing more stuff, bro. It was insane, like how great he was offense and defensively. Like, so if you're a San Antonio Spurs fan or just a basketball fan, like it's gonna be an awesome year watching him.
You got another good one.
He's and people were like, how do you stop this guy? It's pretty much Kobe Bryant, but like the size of like Tim Duncan. Obviously he's taller, but like,
I knew what you meant.
Like that module state, bro. So but also too for me, Jordan Poole, that guy. Listen, man, I was a big Jordan Poole guy going into last year. Obviously, that whole Draymond Green thing kind of just ruined everything with him and that whole team chemistry and whatnot. So going to a fresh start, he's going to have a lot of opportunities, a lot of shooting shots left and right. So I think he has an awesome year.
It's going to be so many empty calories for him in Washington. None of it's going to lead to actual success and winning. Did you see Denny Avdic was like watching Jordan Poole take contested jumpers and was so pissed? He was standing there wide open. Jordan Poole is not making any friends in Washington either, I'll tell you that. But Jordan Poole is going to contend, and we'll talk about awards. He'll contend for most improved player. He might average 30. And I'm being dead serious. And
Fact.
we watched Bradley Beal for years, average high 20s, 30s on that team. Jordan Poole is going to slide right into that Bradley Beal scorer role. Obviously, I think Bradley Beal's a better player, but listen, Jordan Poole's a bucket, and he's going to get buckets on that team. But speaking of award predictions, I got the odds pulled up here on my phone. I'm going to run through, give you the top guys listed, and we'll go through and pick who we think. So NBA Sixth Man of the Year, the two best guys with odds are Emmanuel Quickly at plus 900. He was a finalist last year, and Norman Powell at plus 900. You got Malik Monk on the Kings at plus 1200, Brogdon at plus 1500, Chris Paul at plus 1900, as well at plus 1900, Buddy Hield and Drew Holiday. And then it starts to kind of scatter down from there. Any of those names kind of jump off the page to you as a guy that, yeah, that's probably my Sixth Man of the Year?
Yeah, there's two. So for me, so it's weird because for me, I think of obvious names, but his odds were super low. Drew Holiday, I think his odds, I think that's an awesome value for where he's at.
I just think he's going to start too much.
Exactly. So I think that's probably why. But you never know with how that team ends up and how much he plays and whatnot. But for me, my favorite pick in that list is Malik Monk. I think he had an awesome year last year with the Kings, and
great playoffs too.
Especially playoffs. So I mentioned last NBA pod, like I was a big Kings guy for this year, and I think stays the trend, and Monk could be a really good play. I think it's like plus 1200, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I would take that too.
Here's what I'll say on the Drew Holiday note. I think he's a starter. I don't know why.
Yeah.
I don't even know why he's really listed, to be honest.
No,
it looks like they threw out their starting lineup the other night, and it was Holiday, White, Brown, Tatum, and Porzingis. If anything, Horford to be the sixth man. I got boring answers. I think Emmanuel Quickly. I think he should have won it last year. He didn't. I think he's basically going to play the same role for the Knicks. And I think he's going to be a guy that closes a lot of games, puts up a lot of points. And generally, for Sixth Man of the Year, that's what I look for. A guy that can come off the bench, but is also going to close out games. And that's why a sneaky pick that I like is Chris Paul, man. Chris Paul is going to average a ton of assists off the bench, and he's going to find his way into closing lineups for this team. I've seen highlights of him and Chris Paul, or him and Steph Curry already playing together, and dude, it's just disgusting. Chris Paul with those shooters is just that passing IQ is not going away. He might average close to double-digit assists off the bench. So yeah, Emmanuel Quickly is my favorite, but he's the favorite to win the award, so nothing that crazy. Most improved player. Hey, your boy is in here, but we got Mikal Bridges at 10-1, Tyrese Maxey 11-1, Jordan Poole 12-1, Cade Cunningham 15-1, Anthony Simons 16-1, Austin Reeves 18-1, and then it kind of goes down there. Some later guys that maybe Franz Wagner at 30-1, Desmond Bane 35-1, with John Morant missing some time, Kuminga at 40-1. He's had a really good preseason, but where do you land when it comes to most improved player? Are you sticking with your Poole party?
So I love Poole this year, but you were naming names, and one that kind of stuck with me was, I think, Simons. I think him on that Blazers team, I think he could easily take that next step, and he become the main guy. There's a lot of heads in Portland, and who knows who's going to be that main guy. And I think he, for the past couple of years, he's been balling, and I think this could be his really big year because Dame's gone, bro. So they need somebody to really contribute, and I think that could be it. But obviously, there's some big names on that list, like you mentioned. So it's a tough pick, but for me, that's just going with my gut, and we'll see what happens.
Yeah, I noticed a trend here. A lot of guards that their situation has kind of changed. You mentioned Simons, Jordan Poole. We talked about Cade Cunningham. He'll be back there. A name that I like, Tyrese Maxey at 11-1. If James Harden's not on the team, Tyrese Maxey's assist numbers should go up, and so should his scoring. For most improved player, a lot of times it's a guy whose role has changed drastically. So Poole, another good candidate for that. I also kind of like Austin Reeves at 18-1. Austin Reeves had a really solid playoffs, and I know that it sounds like I'm being like a Lakers homer here, but hear me out. Counting stats wise, because of how much Russell Westbrook was on the team last year and Pat Bev, Austin Reeves averaged 13 points per game in the regular season, and that could easily jump up to 24, 25 this season. LeBron's going to miss some time. Anthony Davis is going to miss some time, and Austin Reeves is going to be the second option a lot of nights for that Lakers team. His scoring is going to be so inflated this season, and NBA media loves Austin Reeves. He's just so, you get that Laker bump. Don't be shocked if he wins it at 18-1. Now, Defensive Player of the Year. Jaren Jackson Jr. 5-1 to repeat. Evan Mobley 7-1. Anthony Davis 8.5-1, as well as Giannis. Bam Adebayo 12-1. Victor Wembanyama 14-1. Gobert and Brook Lopez are both 20-1. A lot of big men. Where's your first inkling? That's the guy.
I don't know if this has ever happened. It has to, but I think Victor, the way I saw him play, it was preseason, but he was freaking everywhere on the court, and people were scared to shoot, bro. And when they did shoot, like, he was blocking shots, and I think he probably has the most opportunity to grow that Spurs team. He's going to have a lot of opportunities on defense, especially. So I think that's not a bad play, and obviously, hopefully, he stays healthy and plays enough games. But if he does, that's not a bad option.
The NBA awards are so narrative driven, man. And Victor Wembanyama winning it, Defensive Player of the Year, just so fits the narrative of the best prospect since LeBron James comes in and wins Defensive Player of the Year right off the rip. So I love it at the 14-1 odds. I also like Bam Adebayo at 12-1 odds. Eric Spoelstra has never won a Coach of the Year. The Heat have come up short in the finals, every time in the last 4 years that they've been there. And Bam Adebayo's never won a Defensive Player of the Year. I could see them throwing a little bone Miami's way and giving it there. I don't like Jaren Jackson to repeat. I don't think he gets enough rebounds, especially with Steven Adams back for the season. Evan Mobley, I kind of feel the same way. Anthony Davis, does he play the 65 minimum games? Giannis, he's competing with Brook Lopez on his same team. It kind of hurt them last year. I feel like that's a lot of the reason why Jaren won it as well. I think a lot of the storyline of the Bucks is going to be focused on they got bounced in the first round. We can't reward Giannis for that this year. And we'll get into that in a little bit. Rookie of the Year, I mean, Wembanyama is plus 110. Listen, the only guys that have a real shot are the top three guys here. Wembanyama plus 110, Chet Holmgren plus 320, Scoot Henderson plus 370. And then you see quickly, Brandon Miller's 28-1, plus 2,800. The top three guys are the only ones with a real shot. I'll say this, Victor Wembanyama, if you think he's going to play 65 games, he's winning the award. The only way that Chet or Scoot wins it is if Vic doesn't play the 65. So my pick is Vic. It's a boring pick. It's your pick too. It's everybody's pick. The plus money is literally just because of the injury risk. So we can move on there. And the last award, MVP. Jokic is the current favorite at plus 430. Then you got Luka at plus 550, Giannis 6-1, Tatum plus 750, Embiid plus 850, Curry 14-1, Durant 19-1, Booker 19-1, Shea 19-1, and then you start getting into 30-1 guys. So we'll leave it at that. I want to talk before I get your vote. I just want to quickly talk about some of the guys that we see here at the higher end. Because when determining an MVP, this is really something that I put a lot of thought into. Here's what you got to have. You have to have a top 3 seed. You have to have a narrative that supports you winning it and have not made the voters look like idiots previously. And you have to also be positioned to win a title this year to where there's some validation in the voters picking you, where it makes them look good after the fact. So Shea, for me, is out. The West is too loaded this year. I don't think the Thunder are a top 3 seed. And even if they are, like on some Kings shit, I just don't see the voters giving Shea the award because I don't think the Thunder are going to look like title contenders unless they pull off some Embiid deal at the deadline. But even if they pull that off, are Shea's numbers MVP worthy? I doubt it. Devin Booker and Kevin Durant both at 19-1. Devin Booker would be the MVP if the Suns were that team. Kevin Durant's not going to play 65 games. Devin Booker's probably going to be the leading scorer on this team, even if Kevin Durant does play. We saw it in the postseason last year, and I think Devin Booker's assist numbers are going to be high. I know Bradley Beal's running the point guard, but Steph Curry at 14-1, that's a good value in my opinion. Because if you think the Warriors have the potential to be a top 3 seed, it's going to be on the back of Steph Curry, right? Chris Paul's a 6-man. Clay's regressed. Kuminga, obviously, even if he improves, he's not going to be that guy. Draymond. Steph Curry, if you think the Warriors are going to be a top 3 seed, I actually really like that pick. Joel Embiid, he's not going to win it. He let the voters down last year. They felt like they had to give it to him. They gave it to him, and he got bounced in the second round again. Even at plus 850, I think he's cooked. Jason Tatum, I'll get to him in a second. Giannis at 6-1, bounced in the first round, goes and gets a superstar on his team. I don't see them giving it to him, man. I just don't. Luka plus 550. I don't think the Mavericks are anywhere close to good enough. And Jokic at plus 430, it almost feels like a layup. I don't know if it's just too easy. That brings me to my pick of Jason Tatum. I think the Celtics are a top 2 seed in the East. I think there's a very high shot of validation on the pick of the Celtics having a deep playoff run. They do every year. I feel like a lock for the conference finals at this point, to where even if they lost there, the voters don't look like idiots. Because if they lose there, it's probably to the Bucks, a super team. Not like a super team, but a very good team. They get to the finals, and they can't beat the Nuggets or the Suns or the Lakers or whatever. It felt like there was a threshold that was crossed. Jason Tatum's going to average somewhere around 27 points. He's going to be the lead guy on his team every single night. With Giannis, I feel like there's nights where Dame's going to be the guy. With Booker and KD, there's nights where it flip-flops. LeBron and AD, same deal. Jason Tatum is going to be the guy just about every single night for that team. They're going to be a top seed. He's never won it before. I just think it all lines up for Jason Tatum to win the MVP award this year. Did I convince you?
You did. I knew you were picking before all this, so I was thinking about it. And Tatum's an awesome pick. I mean, everything you mentioned was pretty on point. We'll get into our season picks after this, but Tatum's gonna have an awesome year for me. But I think based off of value, I'm a value guy, and I think that they have a lot to prove, and especially this guy. I think Steph Curry wins it. I think. For me, I think that they have an awesome year. Like you mentioned before, Chris Paul, I think he has an awesome help for Steph this year. Having him as the ball controller, facilitator.
That would be his third MVP too. So it's not like it's a crazy number where, he doesn't pass LeBron there. It's not like something that would spark that debate.
Yeah. So I think this is just his year. I think he really balls out. And for me, it's one of the main guys, and Steph, you keep him in the system, get him his numbers and maybe another MVP. But I think he really has an awesome year. I think for me,
he can average 30 this year easily.
I think that Warriors team, Jordan Poole's not there, so he's gonna have to really score, and I think that team, Steve Kerr, he has a lot to prove as well. Last year was a little bit of a disappointment. And, with that Western Conference being as competitive as it is, I think that somebody has to step up. And I think Steph's that guy, and he has that year to really catapult him to MVP status.
Yeah, I wouldn't be shocked. My biggest concern there was seeding. The West is stacked. Nuggets, Lakers, Suns, Clippers if they stayed healthy, the Grizzlies, the Kings. There's just a lot of teams that could finish above the Warriors that Jason Tatum felt like a way safer pick. And even at the odds difference, I liked Tatum better. But Steph's not a bad pick, man. If the Warriors are a top 3 seed, it's going to be hard to not give it to Steph. Because when you look around the league, the Lakers have LeBron and AD. The Nuggets have Murray and Jokic. Booker and Kevin Durant and Bradley Beal. Kawhi and Paul George. Tatum, Brown, Porzingis, Holiday. Giannis and Dame. For the Sixers right now, Harden and Embiid. It's really Steph out there. And Splash Brothers all you want. Clay is not that guy. Clay was never to the level of Devin Booker, but he certainly isn't even in that conversation now. So I really don't hate the pick if they end up there. But let's get into these finals predictions. Why don't you give me your Eastern Conference Finals, the winner, Western Conference Finals, the winner, and then talk about the finals and who you got winning.
So for me, I have out of the Eastern Conference, I have unfortunately the Celtics beating the Milwaukee Bucks. Jason Tatum, that team's really good, bro. That team, that Drew Holiday trade, really, I hate it, but for them, it just makes total sense, and I think they pay dividends for how good they're going to be come playoff time. That team's stacked, bro. That starting 4, that is really tough, and obviously still have a decent bench, and they have a lot to improve, bro. So I think for me that with the Bucks, my issue with them is that Dame and Giannis combo. It does look nice, but I think come playoff time, I think it might get into the way. And for that reason, I think the Boston Celtics, I just think their chemistry is going to fit better as a team. Western, I have the Suns over the Nuggets. I think the Suns struggle a little bit starting the season, getting their chemistry, getting their flow. But once maybe middle of the season, February comes around, they pick it up. And I think they got enough to really help that team. I think getting Ayton off that team is a huge boost.
Yeah,
I think he was just a cancer, and he didn't really fit their scheme. So I really like the direction that they're going with that. And obviously the Nuggets are going to be great this year. But I think it's hard to repeat. That West is tough, and I think the Suns team is just a little bit better in my opinion. But I can never count out the Nuggets. They're super deep, so I'm going to take the Suns there. So I have the Celtics and the Suns, and unfortunately,
that'd be a great finals, man.
Awesome. Unfortunately, I think it's just the Celtics. I hate to say it, but I think this is the Celtics' year, and they get another title. And I don't even know why I'm saying this, but it's just I'm not a homer, so I have to be realistic. And that team's just too good, bro. I think that Tatum gets his, Brown gets his.
Is Tatum Finals MVP?
It has to be. I mean, something could change, but I probably would take Tatum at MVP there. It's Drew Holiday gets his revenge. He's not doing too happy. He's salty. He wants to really prove Milwaukee, you guys messed up.
Oh my God, Drew Holiday clamping down Damian Lillard at the final possession of a Game 7 would be hilarious.
And then Porzingis too. A lot of people forget. If
he's healthy, he's a problem.
Exactly. I was not the biggest fan of that trade because they had to get rid of Marcus Smart, and I think he was the identity of that team. But they added Drew Holiday.
Then they get Drew Holiday, a better version of him.
Exactly. So you have him plus Porzingis, bro. I think it's a no-brainer. So I'm gonna take the Celtics over the Suns, probably in 6, maybe 7 if we're lucky.
Yeah, no, you'll see. I don't hate it. In the Eastern Conference, I got the Celtics over the Bucks. I think in the regular season, the Bucks have a better regular season. I think they're a deeper roster, but when it comes time to the playoffs, rotations shrink. The Celtics, if they're healthy, have the best 6 in basketball. Drew Holiday, Derek White. That's going to be a problem for Dame. Simply put there. The Celtics have the ability to stretch the Bucks out. So there's great rim protectors in Giannis and Brook Lopez. When they run Tatum and Porzingis, they're going to be able to stretch them out. And they got a guy like Horford who's, had some success against Giannis in the past. How much can I rely on Al Horford at his age to continue to be able to build the wall? I don't know. Until it proves me wrong, I guess. But yeah, it should be no surprise. Pick Tatum to win MVP. I think he takes a leap this year. And I think the Celtics represent the Eastern Conference. And in the West, I got the Lakers over the Suns. I agree with you that the Suns get there. I actually have the Suns as my 1 seed now in the West. I flipped it from the last time we talked. I just think the team is a really solid regular season team in an NBA that doesn't play a lot of defense in the regular season. Booker, Beal, seeing Beal in the preseason, especially with this team, getting the other team's third best defender, there's going to be so many nights where he goes off. Kevin Durant, Nurkic, this team's ability to fit in role players and work the buyout market, I think, is going to have them in a good spot come the postseason. And for the Lakers, I have them beating the Nuggets in the semifinals. I just think the Lakers, on a full season of having this team, a full off season, not playing playoff level basketball for months going in, they were tired the last time they played the Nuggets. And when you win a title, like you said, it's hard to repeat. That same roster, not there. They lose Bruce Brown. Can they stay as healthy as they did last year? Jamal Murray, Michael Porter Jr., KCP, Jokic, they were all healthy. So I have the Lakers bouncing back, and I just think the Lakers have too much size for the Suns. I think it's a bad matchup for Phoenix if they get LA. I don't think they have anybody to guard Anthony Davis or LeBron James, to be quite frank. Kevin Durant could try, but overall, and I think the Lakers do have the size in a 6'4" guard in D'Lo and a 6'5" guard in Reeves to at least apply some pressure to Booker and Beal. And at a certain point, a lot of those guys do the same thing. And jump shots, they don't always fall. Getting to the rim, that falls. So I have Lakers Celtics in the finals, a classic. And listen, man, you're not a homer, but I am, man. I'm taking the Lakers to win the title. If your team is a title contender and you don't pick them, you're a fake fan. I don't think the Sixers are a title contender, so I get you not picking them. But I didn't pick the Lakers last year because that roster going in, I knew it wasn't a title contender, so I didn't pick them. I picked Sixers over Clippers. That aged shitty. So, but Lakers over Celtics here. Again, Porzingis can't guard AD. I think AD is the perfect guy to guard Porzingis. Jason Tatum has put on some weight, but can he defend LeBron James? I'm not so sure. The biggest strength of Boston is perimeter defense, but that's not where the Lakers beat you. So that strength is kind of nulled. And the Lakers have athletic enough wings to keep up with the perimeter scoring. A Taurean Prince, a Jared Vanderbilt, a Rui Hachimura even. This is size. And this is how the Lakers won the title in 2020. Jackson Hayes, Christian Wood, Anthony Davis, LeBron James, Rui Hachimura, Vanderbilt. Those are 6 guys over the height of 6'8" that can play real minutes on an NBA team. And it's designed to beat the Nuggets, and I think it does. And I think it's good enough to win a title. I think size and defense gets it done for the Lakers again. I got them in 6 over Boston, but listen, when you look at the title contenders, there's so much parity in the NBA, man. You got Boston and Milwaukee out east as it currently stands, but in the West, you got the Nuggets, the Suns, the Lakers. If you told me Steph Curry and the Warriors found a way, and you were from the future, I'd say, damn it, they did it again. But I'd believe you. The Clippers, if they execute a James Harden trade, they enter the conversation. The NBA season will be so exciting. Be sure to let us know in the comments your finals predictions. Go ahead, make fun of me for my Lakers pick. I'll talk to you. We'll be seeing. But make sure you give us a follow on socials. Make sure you follow the College Kids for all your NBA betting throughout the season. You want to make some money this year? Give them a follow. We are up here every Tuesday, Friday, Saturday. Tuesdays and Fridays, we're talking NFL. Saturdays, we're talking hoops. So until next time, peace.
Boom.